Hey, this is me again. I was just wanting to talk about again doing some DIY live rock for saltwater aquariums. A lot of YouTube videos out there that show some examples and how to make them. A lot of different mixtures. I'm just going to kind of show you some of mine. I felt like if I was going to make rock, I might as well make it aesthetic, cause a theme that's both functional for the biofiltration that's needed in a saltwater aquarium, but yet aesthetic. And so today I'm showing kind of this Lost City of Atlantis theme, and I'm going to show you how to make columns. Okay, so what I'm using is a piece of 6-inch internal diameter PVC pipe. I was lucky to find some PVC scrap from a construction site that they didn't care that I got, and 3/4-inch PVC pipe cut in half on my table saw. So the good thing about this is that actually I think my table saw blade takes out about an 1/8 inch, and so whenever I run down a whole piece of PVC pipe and then I cut it into 6-inch lengths to fit the same. This is actually 6 inches tall, because columns, you know, if you look at columns, they're ancient columns, they're kind of put together in sections, although you can't notice it when they're done. But usually in ruins and stuff, these sections are obvious. You can see the different sections and stuff, so that's what the theme was going for. So these pieces will actually, once you completely fill them in, they will snap in and just go around the inside of this until you get all the way around, and actually it'll snap in tight. So you don't actually have to glue them in place. They'll just go in and snap in. I've actually, sometimes it takes me 2 or 3 times to get them all the way around inside there. So this is one that I've actually already got done. You can see all the pieces are just, and they're literally not glued in. They're just, the pure size fits perfectly. So the last piece you kind of wedge in there and everything's good. Actually, there actually was the last one to click into place. So, so once I get this made, I just put it on my, I'm using a piece of plexiglass just so that that's a good bottom for the bottom of my mold. I'm going to give it a little tap just to get it, all the pieces kind of flat to the bottom as possible, so that the glue does not, I mean the actual concrete mix does not come out. So the ingredients for this, I feel like to get this more smoother texture occasionally, is I'm using a mixture of white Portland cement, which I'm using 2 parts white Portland cement, kind of a marine grade cement, safe for aquariums that don't have any phosphate. I'm using 2 parts, let me use this other screw, 2 parts oyster shell, crushed oyster shell. So I've already got 2 parts of white Portland cement in here. Here's 2 parts crushed oyster shell. Just kind of use a good scooper, and 2 parts sand. So, and the sand, you know, with the sand just allows it to have a little bit more smoother texture. You do lose a little bit of the porousness of the rock, but actually I pulled all this out of my water to where I'm curing it, or getting the pH right, and brought it in here, and about a good 15-20 minutes after I brought it inside, I could still hear occasional pops of water from inside the rocks and stuff. So I think it's probably a lot better than we think. So you mix these ingredients together well so that all the Portland cement is on everything that's in there. So again, so far this is 2 parts Portland cement, 2 parts sand, and 2 parts aggregate. So, and I've played around with this. Sometimes I'll use less sand. Some of the blocks, I've got one outside that I used a lot less sand in, so it looks a lot rougher texture. And I think probably a mixture of that, just as long as I'm going with a lot of people use a 3-2-1 mixture, which is 3 parts aggregate, 2 parts salt, 1 part Portland cement. I found that, I don't know if it's, I also heard somebody else say, probably, I don't know if it's just, I'm in the south and it's humid or whatever. It found like when I used that type of ingredient, my rocks were too brittle and they fell apart and they weren't quite as strong, and so I've used a little bit beefier mixture. So all you need to do is add water. You do have to kind of add this slow, because a lot of times I'll get it too wet, so hopefully I won't do that since we're videoing. and just mix it up as you go. Lose my trowel. So we're good. So and I thank my wife for filming this for me, so I can do this. You can see, but I might have just a little bit. Actually, no, I think we're pretty good there. It does go a little bit better in the. I noticed that when you do add the salt to it, it kind of thickens it up a little bit. So actually, I thought I was getting it too wet. But I may need to actually put a little bit more water in it. I like to, if I was making the block, the brick, which I'll make later. I mean, this right here is plenty. You want it to hold a little form. That's actually plenty wet enough. But for the columns, to get it to soak into those patterns, you want it just a little bit wetter. So I'm gonna put just a little bit more. And then when you get down to that last little bit, it really doesn't take hardly anything at all. And so that last little bit of. So I'm trying to move quick because I think there's kind of a time limit on these videos, so I want to make sure we get all this in there. So the last thing you want to add is your salt, because the salt will mix up. You don't want to mix the salt a long time while it's in there, so always lose my cup. There we go. So this is just Dixie crystals. So, alright, so 2 parts salt. So again, this one's all 2, 2, and 2. Just quickly mix the salt into the mixture. Sometimes I flip the bucket over and it kind of. Actually, I'm going to make another, just for the sake of doing it, I'm going to make another column similar to this one with a hole in the center. So, you can see that. So I'm going to grab, if I have enough time here, how much time have I got?
Yeah.